long time. I just never heard of something like an airbag. I just thought that even criminals had some limit to how low they could go, but to do something that is going to kill somebody is pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's terrible. So everybody caveat emptor.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you better believe it. Well, Tina, thank you so very much for the call, and I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving. And you're our most important caller, certainly our most important female caller, but you're right up there in the top rankings. Hope you can call again next week.
Thank you. We're going to call you Rhonda.
Thank you. All of the women are important, and the $50 is a thing, ladies. So please, Nancy and I can't do this by ourselves. We need you.
Thank you so much, Dina. I really enjoy you, and thank you for the support. We're going to go to Rhonda now, who's in Palm Beach Gardens. Good morning, Rhonda. How are you?
Can we help you, Rhonda? I just had to say that.
You got it.
Well, my name is Vonda, V-O-N-D-A,
Oh.
Vonda.
Wanda, okay.
Are you a
Wanda.
first-time caller?
Help me find it.
Yes.
Oh, great. Whenever you can, send out your information to 772-497-6530. That's your contact information, and I'll get a check out to you. What can we do for you this morning?
I hear about a lot of electric cars. Even the Mustang is going to have an electric car. How many miles are they going to be able to go?
I read that it was over 350. It was a pretty big range. I mean, better than like the higher range Teslas is what I heard. Like I think a standard Tesla is about 250 miles on a charge, and then you can get an upgrade and get something like 350. And I think the Mustang is starting out right around that higher range.
That's not bad. Is that like if you just go at once, 350, or does it use more battery to stop and go?
Yeah, definitely how you're driving is going to affect how long the battery lasts, also temperature of the air. So if you're really driving aggressively and stopping and starting a lot, you're probably going to get not quite the range. You know, I was talking about that with my brother the other day. I was saying, well, 350 miles, that's comparable to a tank of gas. And he says, well, what happens when you run out of electricity? Are you going to find a charging station? So we still don't have the infrastructure yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, there's more stations at different locations than you think. But
yeah,
I was just wondering about that because it seems like I thought you said that Volkswagen was only going to have electric cars or something.
Yeah. That's
one thing to keep in mind is that the electric car, as it comes into regular use, is going to have a very high depreciation rate because the technology on the battery is increasing so quickly. So if you buy an electric car today, for example, right now the Chevy Volt is practically worthless there. It was one of the very first electric cars that came out. And even the Mustang, if it's possible for you to look at a late model electric car, buy it used, you defer and avoid a lot of the enormous depreciation, because you can see someone buying an electric car that had a battery with a range of 300 miles and then you can avoid that by buying a late model used or waiting a little bit, and buying the next model that comes out.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
And Rhonda, it's amazing. There are so many drivers out there that just don't realize, that their driving skills affect your car, whether it's electric or whether you just have, you're filling the tank with gas. And also, compounded by that, you have someone else driving your car. So there's a lot of variables as far as how far you can take your electric car or how long it'll take before you have to fill your tank again with gas.
Well, I didn't know.
And
with an electric car, if you're driving and you turn it off for the night, and then you start it again, when it's off, does it use any charge at all? Or?
It's still going to use a tiny amount because all the computers have got to keep their memories alive. So there's still going to be a very tiny amount of electricity being used. But the interesting thing that I see about them is, like when you pull up to your home at night, you would automatically want to plug the car in and let it charge overnight while you're asleep. And a lot of workplaces, parking garages and the like, have special spaces. So it's a very good likelihood for some people they would be able to charge the vehicle while they're working at their normal job
Yeah.
for the day.
Yeah, that's good.
Even some places, restaurants, where you can pull up and while you're inside eating for 45 minutes to an hour, your car is plugged in and charging for free.
Yeah, 'cause I always drive from like Florida up north, and I wonder how many of the big gas stations like Pilot and them might have one to charge.
You can Google that. They have that information. There's a surprising number of charging stations in Florida and California. They're wall to wall. It's important, no matter where you live, to check that out and look at your radius of where you go. And after a while, if you stay in your radius, you'll know every charging station just like you know every gas station. But to take a trip across country, you want to plan your route before you to take off and be sure you're near a charging station.
And I guarantee
Well, if your
there's
car was
websites.
dead, how long does it take to charge it?
Well, it varies, and again, that's technology. As we roll along here, you can quick charge. I think you can quick charge a Tesla now in about 15 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes, yeah.
And some of them take like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So you really need to decide where you're going to use it, what geography you're going to be driving the car, and then take into consideration what you're buying and what that car is going to be worth when you're ready to trade it in. And electric cars are going to, a brand new electric car is going to depreciate like crazy. Just have to be prepared to accept that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Hey,
A lease might be a better idea than a purchase. Like Tesla has a leasing option, and that way you know exactly where you are. They absorb the depreciation because they get their car back at the end of the lease.
Thank you for the discussion on this great topic, a very popular topic. And I'll give you that text number again so that you can send me your information, contact information, 772 497 6530. And please spread the word. Maybe you have a few female friends who would certainly like to give us a call and join us just to say hello.
And pick up
Okay,
50
great.
bucks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a great show ahead of us, and I can't remind you enough about www. I'm having a problem with my
Just
speech
3
this
Ws.
morning from all that turkey. www.youranonymousfeedback.com. Don't forget you can take advantage of that and remain anonymous. Give us a call toll free at 877 960-9960. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
I think we got some text over there.
Yeah, we can go to the text if you're ready. First one came in. It says, good morning, Earl. Wisconsin is making an example of a used car dealer by awarding punitive damages. Lemon Law attorney Vince Megna is taking on a used car dealer for faking prices in the sales contract. The car dealer has admitted to doing this on various occasions in the past. There are more details in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel story. And he sent a link to the story. Well, that's good.
It is, yeah. You know, for you folks out there that are not lawyers and don't understand punitive damages, businessmen worldwide fear punitive damages more than anything else because they're uninsurable. And when you have a big fat cat corporation or a big fat cat car dealer, and you sue them and you get awarded $100,000, that's pocket change to these guys, and it doesn't really teach them a lesson. But when you sue somebody for punitive damages, now the punitive damages mean that it was premeditated, that the businessman either knew that he did wrong or should have known that he did wrong. And when you could prove that in court, then you get punitive damages, sometimes even treble, meaning triple the damages that you had. Now that means he's not insured, and whatever you win, it's not going to be it'll be coming out of his pocket, not his insurance company's pocket. And I'm glad to hear that, because a lot of what goes on with car dealers when they rip you off, and the bait and switch advertising and the lies that we see in the mystery shopping reports, they knew about it. It's premeditated. And I wish we could have more punitive damage lawsuits.
It's a great deterrent.
Yeah.
Very scary. Okay, next text comes in from Anne Marie, longtime texter listener. Good morning. There were a couple of news stories of dogs driving cars recently. This is true.
And one right here in Wellington, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, the first case was in Port St. Lucie.
Oh, boy, that's
Oh,
right, yeah.
the Chihuahua.
Right. Port St. Lucie, where a dog was doing donuts in a neighborhood cul-de-sac. The car mowed down a mailbox. The second was in Slidell, Louisiana, where a Chihuahua carjacked his owner's car, backed the car from one gas station across 4 lanes of traffic, and stopped at the Chihuahua stopped the car, okay. And then stopped at the gas station to cross the street. Both cars were running, and the owner said their cars had issues. Don't know how dogs drove since the driver needs to step on the brake to put the car in gear. Very true. And we're talking about a Chihuahua in one of the cases.
Yeah.
Fortunately, neither man nor dog got hurt. Pet owners, if you're going to get out of your vehicle and leave it running while your pet is in the car, please put the parking brake on so your pet doesn't go for a joyride. Unfortunately, Anne-Marie, there are less and less cars with parking brakes. I do not believe I've driven in a car with a parking brake.
Every car has a parking brake.
Really? Well, I just
Yep.
don't know where mine is.
Pedal over on the very far left, right against the kick panel.
I'm checking when I go downstairs. Okay. Please put the parking brake on your car so your car pet doesn't go for a joyride. Your insurance company and pedestrians in the area will thank you. Yes, indeed. Next text from Rufus. Every year I see car transport trucks delivering snowbirds' cars. Is that cost efficient? Cost a lot of money, and they have to do a round trip. Does that really offset the wear and tear and mileage put on the car driven down from, say, New York? Like I said, from Rufus.
It's surprisingly reasonable. I've heard numbers, $350 or $300. I mean,
Yeah.
compare it to having someone drive your car down.
Yeah, a transporter, if they have a full load, they can offer a better deal. If you're sending one car with one transporter to New York, it could cost you $800 to $1,000 maybe. But if he's got a whole truckload, he
If
gets
you're,
down there. Yeah.
and be flexible on the timing, too.
Yeah.
That way it allows them to collect a truckload.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly economical. I'm always amazed. I see them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely saving some money because, first of all, there's a risk when you're driving it down. You get some damage on your car.
Yeah.
You're wearing your tires out, and also the depreciation you get from mileage. So it's actually a pretty smart move. All right, one more. Thanks for the information. Oh, this is from Vonda. I'm sorry, she was just calling saying her contact information, but she's
okay.
thanking us for the info on electric cars.
Oh,
Well,
thank
thank
you.
you for
You're
calling,
welcome.
Vonda.
Thank you, Wanda. We'll have your $50 out to you ASAP.
All right, we're caught up for now.
Yeah, on YouTube.
I've got a really interesting one here that just came in from Donovan. He says, Earl, I followed your advice and purchased the car I messaged about 2 weeks ago, but he says, I also got out of the dealer fee. He
Nice.
says, was very happy, but I found out later that the key remote was missing the key blade, the little mechanical key that comes in
Yeah.
it. The dealer I purchased the car from won't help me. What can I do?
Oh, boy, I tell you, it's amazing. When you say the dealer, I'm thinking you probably didn't talk to the owner of the dealership. If you did, shame on him or the general manager. Oftentimes, the lower echelon don't want to be bothered with, helping the customer after the sale. Once you buy the car, get out of here. And I don't get a commission for finding you a insert for your remote. I'd go up the line as high as I could. I'd try to get hold of the owner and at least the general manager. And if all that failed, I'd call the 800 number to the manufacturer. That'll get their attention. The manufacturer will contact the owner, and the owner will see that it gets taken care of. It's just stupid when you hear things like that.
Especially something like that, those little key blanks
Yeah.
that
Costs nothing.
even a laser cut version
Yeah.
is like $40 or $50 at the most.
Yeah, $300, $400 for the remote, but that's just a
Right.
piece of steel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Do we have any more YouTubes?
We're caught up at the moment.
Okay, let me jump in here. Josephine has a text, and it's an interesting one. that's asked so often for the ladies, and that is she wants to know if it's a safe place to purchase a vehicle online. It's not only a safe place where you can remain anonymous, but you're going to get a pretty good deal rather than go into the dealership as far as paying, a reasonable price for a vehicle. And now I'll turn this over to the recovering car dealer. I know he's got a lot to add to that.
Yeah, Josephine, online buying has become almost the only place that you should buy a car, and it's because of your vast expanded ability to get competitive pricing and your vast lack of harassment. You can really, as Nancy said, you can keep your privacy by using a different email address that reaches you but not your regular email address, free email address, and you don't have to give them your real phone number. So you can really have total anonymity, and you can talk to 3 dealerships or 30 dealerships, not literally talk, but you can communicate. And out of those X number of dealerships, you will get some decent prices. And you don't really have to go into the physical facility, into the actual dealership, until you've got your pricing information, decide on the car you want. You're basically going in there to test drive the car and to be sure that the deal is legitimate. But you save a lot of shoe leather, a lot of gasoline driving around and getting harassed. So it's a great way to buy a car.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little less haggling, and great place to go, Josephine. So you're right on it. Stay in touch with us and let us know how your transaction went. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Lines are lit up again, and we are going to go to John in West Palm Beach. Good morning, John. How are you?
Hey, John.
Hey, hi. Hello.
Hi.
I'm going to be turning in a Honda on a lease, and I want to know how to protect myself. I know that my wife is getting a little bit antsy about it, and I've had my oil changed at Honda when they sent me a coupon, but I usually use Jiffy Lube because I can get a coupon and get it for cheaper. Do I need to bring in all the receipts from Jiffy Lube? I tend to lose things, and I may not have them all. I'm going to go again today to go get the oil changed because the wrench light is on, and I'm just wondering, should I ask them for a history of my oil changes with them? I mean, is that necessary, or
No.
in turning in this lease?
The leasing companies don't ask for proof of maintenance or repair or anything else. They just inspect your car physically. Now, if you had a problem that may have been related to oil, that would be good to have the receipts. But if you don't have a problem, and apparently you don't, and you would rarely have a problem in a lease car because what you're talking 3 or 4 years, all you need to worry about is the physical presence of your car. If you had any paint work done, is it done properly? Do you have enough tread on your tires? Do you have any dings, dents? Are there any stains on your upholstery? What's your mileage? And the way to protect yourself is to be present when they inspect the car. There should be an official form from the leasing company, and you should sign off on that. You should have your smartphone camera with you, take pictures of the car to be sure that the dent in the door was there when you turned it in. Make a note of the odometer mileage. You can take a picture of that too to be sure a salesman doesn't take your car at the dealership and drive it for 10,000 miles before they turn it into the leasing company. And same thing goes with the interior of the car. But once you've agreed with the actual condition, it's locked in and you're protected from any charges after the fact.
Okay, very good. And when I turn it in, take the pictures, go have the car detailed before I turn it in. And
Yeah.
my wife ended up buying that some type of armor guard insurance thing where they take care of little dings, dents, and rims and stuff like that. So I got to give them a call, and I think we got one little door ding.
Yeah.
Like a pinhole type thing.
If you read the fine print in your lease, they define what normal wear and tear is. Excuse me. And you don't be careful when you're trying to touch up or repair something. Sometimes you're drawing attention to something that might not even be noticeable or fall under the radar. We see it in our body shop. Full disclosure, I am a recovering car dealer. I have a car dealership, And our body shop will see instances where people will have tried to fix something on their car and they actually made it worse.
Yeah, like
So,
bad touch-up paint. Or
bad
something.
touch-up paint or something like that. So I wouldn't even fool with that. I think maybe just a car wash, do a clean up inside and outside.
Yeah.
Car would look nicer, probably psychologically less likely to draw attention to anything.
Yeah,
Stu,
yeah. The leasing companies will use like a third-party inspection service, and usually you'll get a heads up ahead of time before you turn it in, as long as you take advantage of that. If you just turn it in, drop it off at the dealership, then you're kind of at their mercy. But if you get that first inspection, they'll let you know, yeah, this needs to be addressed. You can ignore this, and so you get a good idea.
Oh, I think we got something like that in the mail. It said it was some type of postcard saying your lease is up in such amount of time. Bring it in and we can check it out, or so. Bring it in for inspection or something.
Just
like
make sure that actually came from Honda American Credit and not Sam's Body Shop.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Thanks for the
Thanks
call,
for-
John.
Stay in touch.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, thanks. We will.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment to thank you. Boy, I'll tell you, if you're listening, the calls are coming in one at a time and very smooth operation. And it is a busy weekend, and I'm just so happy that you're taking a moment to listen to Earl Stewart on Cars because, as you well know, the information here is priceless, literally priceless. It is just free information. So thank you. We're going to go straight to Frank from Jupiter Farms. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. This is not exactly car stuff. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of being in a parking lot on Indiantown Road, and I see a man and a woman coming across the street. He opens her door, and she sits down in the car. He closes the door and starts walking around. And I go, boy, that looks like Earl Stewart. And I go, it was. We said hi. You got a very nice haircut, by the way.
Well, thank
But
you.
how refreshing, how to see that Chevrolet still in this day and age. It took me back like 40
Aw.
years.
You know, that's because I'm an old guy, Frank. And, you know, it's funny, when we grew up, I assume you're somewhere around my age, but, you know, we were taught to pull out the chair for the ladies and open the door and take our hats off in the elevator. To this day, people look at me strange. I get in an elevator and if I'm wearing a cap, I take my cap off. It's just reflex action, which nobody else does it, and there's no reason for it, but it was just taught as I grew up. So,
No, I am of that generation. I still do it. And I thought I was the only one until yesterday. And I go, it was so refreshing to see another gentleman. But that's it. It's short and sweet. You got
Thanks,
a great
Frank.
show.
And that also means that Nancy and I were getting along at that time, because if we'd have had an argument, she'd have to open her own damn door.
Very good. Very
You
good.
would have seen me. You would have seen a beatdown in the parking lot. That's where I take it. I jump on Earl, and I punch him like I only need to punch him 2 or 3 times, and then he comes to his senses.
She's Sicilian, Frank, so you got to be careful.
Anyway,
okay.
you know,
Yeah.
Frank, on a more serious note, I do have to bring out this on the millennials, the Gen X. I'll tell you what, you know, I see more of this younger generation doing exactly what Earl was just speaking of. And by the way, Earl isn't really that old, and neither am I. We're both just about the same age. But it's just so refreshing to see that chivalry. And I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Thank you so much for the phone call.
Oh, no problem. One quick last thing. The other day, I was at a doctor's office. I'm going to have a knee replacement, and there was about 20 different people in the waiting room, all scattered around. Every single person is on a cell phone.
Yeah,
I think I was the only one that did not have a cell phone in my hand. But anyway.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes we just lose control, you know, and boy, I'll tell you what, if you just stop and enjoy the moment and just put the phone down,
There you go.
put it
Right.
Well, you all
down.
have a great day. I thank you for taking the call.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Frank. Hope to see you again.
Yes, ma'am.
We're gonna go straight to, boy, I'll tell you what, the calls are just coming in. And we're gonna go to John in Palm City. Good morning, John.
Good morning to everyone.
Hey,
I have
John.
a question for Earl. Last week I mentioned the Ford Total Electric. Ford, we all know, is for years number one selling truck. Mustang, hotter than anything. I mean, in August 2018, they celebrated 500 million. I repeat, 500 million at their Flat Rock, Michigan plant. That's compared to in 2004, the 40th anniversary was 300 million. I could go on and on. For 24 odd years, Mercury in Florida was the number one selling full-size American cars.
Yeah.
But my question is, I can name dealers, especially in South Florida, that are number one, like Arrigo. Nobody's bigger than him with Chrysler, Dodge, BMW, Lexus. He's the biggest in the world.
Yeah, Brayman, yeah.
Gunther, Volkswagen down in Florida. But I can't name any number one or large Ford dealer in the entire state. Why is that, Earl? I mean, even a dealer like in Lake Park years ago, it was Bev Smith Ford, and he sold it to Molnex
Yeah.
after he expanded the place. It seems when I go in the Midwest or I go to California, the largest dealers in some of these small cities are Ford, but yet not down here in Florida. What do you believe the reason that they don't want to make investment in a large Ford dealership?
You know, I don't know. It's a very interesting question. It's something that I never thought about. You know, we have a friend, Stu and I, that has a Ford dealership in Lake Worth. That's Wayne Akers Ford. Les Akers owns that. We know the Molnex people, and I know a lot of Ford dealers. I don't know why we don't have an aggressive, hotshot kind of a number one in the area. I don't think it's the product so much. And when you think the F-150, I mean, talk about a leg up. If you get a Ford dealership, you automatically get the number one selling vehicle in the world. And why there aren't any huge volume Ford dealers in Florida is a great question. I'd like to give you an answer. I'm scratching my head. Toyota, Honda, there's giant, as you said, a Chrysler Jeep with Arrigo. And Bayman, the luxury cars have a leg up in South Florida because it's a very affluent area. I can't answer the Ford question. Anybody got an idea?
I'm drawing a
Well, why
blank.
it's a mystery to me, it seems, I grew up in New York City, spent 50 some odd years, and even in Manhattan itself, I remember Potemkin, number one, Cadillac dealer, and I don't remember, except for the suburbs on the outside, and even he had problems. When you went over the city line, there was a dealer called Mineola Ford. It was owned directly by Ford, and it went under twice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it seems like a mystery, and specifically, I don't know whether it's the bigger cities or exactly what it is, but with number one selling cars, and there's a dealer that really puzzles me, that when I used to be a snowbird coming back to Florida, Palm Beach Lincoln Mercury, all of a sudden it disappeared. Any idea whatever happened to that?
Yeah, that was owned by Bob Quillo, and I think Lincoln was taken over. His Lincoln franchise was taken over by Al Packer, and as far as the I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. Palm Beach Lincoln Mercury, and Mercury disappeared. So that's what it was. The Lincoln went to Al Packer, and the Mercury disappeared. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's Alpaca.
Okay. But it's a mystery, and it really remains not known why there shouldn't be a tremendous, somewhere in the state of Florida,
Yeah.
like you see in the Midwest, my God, they are number one in size, too.
Yeah.
But today, it's not the same.
John, I'm going to think about that, scratch my head, do some Googling, and maybe next week I'll come up with something. I will say this, though, that Ford today is probably the shakiest of the auto manufacturers financially. And they haven't really made the leap to electric or autonomous and the software. And there's a lot of trouble with Ford right now. The stock is really tanking. And I think that might be that people would be afraid to buy a Ford franchise today. However, doesn't answer the question why they didn't jump in 10, 20 years ago, and why aren't there are no giant Ford dealers in Florida that I know of?
Yes. Well, we'll think about it.
I'll tell you next week. Either that or I'll say, I don't know.
Thank you, guys. I'm
Thank you,
looking
John.
forward to the report.
Thanks,
on
John.
the,
Thank you so much, John.
dealers.
Thanks for staying in touch with us. I have a text message, and I'm finding it somewhat humorous. But first, I'll repeat the text. And Tony, which I think is my cousin, because it's from Pittsburgh.
Tony,
And
is he Italian?
And listen. This is hysterical. If anyone saw The Irishman, there's a little part in the where is everyone in your family named Tony? Who are you talking about? Tony who? Tony? What's Tony? Tony
Bag of
1,
Donuts.
Tony 2, Tony 3. And it was hysterical. You get a chance to watch The Irishman. It'll amuse you. Anyway, back to Tony. He was interested in a question he was asked the other day as to whether he would get a better deal this past Black Friday or Cyber Monday in purchasing a vehicle. Earl?
No.
I'll tell you what, Tony, there's some things you really got to be careful for. As many deals that they're advertising right now, that is the exact time for you to be taken advantage of, and taken advantage of with add-ons and so many other things. Buyer beware.
Yeah, it's a bad time really to buy a car because I think that the distortions and exaggerations and the deceptions maximize on something like Black Friday. And any holiday, car dealers, this was in the mystery shopping report we'll get into later, talking about just ignore advertising by car dealers. Just ignore it, especially the Black Friday thing, because there actually are some good deals that you can get on Black Friday. And if you go online to Amazon, you're careful. Yeah. You always have to be careful, but there's some legitimate good prices. Don't fall into the trap to think that car dealers will do it. They won't. They make more money on Good Friday per car than they do any other day.
They make more money on all sales as far as that's concerned. I was reading where they had the flat screen TV. I mean, there were people that were in line. They were giving them away. But I'm not sure who did the research because it was outdated in so many other things. So you can certainly be taken advantage of on Cyber Monday or Black Friday. So again, buyer beware. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530.
Okay.
Next.
They're rolling in, and we got comments coming in on youranonymousfeedback.com.
Good.
So we want to remind everybody that's another way to get in touch with the show and get answers to your questions, especially if you're feeling shy and you don't want to give up your phone number. www.youranonymousfeedback.com. I hope that came out clear.
It did.
Okay, good. Earl, what was the dash cam you recommended? Other than being a novelty, what is the purpose of installing a camera in your car? Are there legal privacy issues? Don't you record license plate numbers from other cars on the road? And what about people who don't want to be filmed?
The Owl, O-W, Owl is the brand name of the dash cam I have. I love it, and it's technologically perfect. It does what it's supposed to do, and it is, to me, it's one of my most important accessories in my car now. It tells you if someone is walking around your car. When we leave the studio, when we go out to get in the car, if Stu walks in front of my car, I get an alert on my Apple Watch that there's movement around my car, and there's Stu's pretty face on my Apple Watch.
Aww.
So it's really cool. And if you're on the highway and you're driving along and you see an incident, you verbally say this, "Okay, presto." When you say "Okay, presto," then your dash cam freezes the instant and video for 20 seconds. It does 10 seconds before you said "Okay, presto," and then you say, "How do it do that?" Well, it just rewinds the tape digitally.
Yeah, it records in a loop.
Yeah, in a loop, and then it takes the next 10 seconds. So if you see an accident, if you see something that you would want to report to the police, or it's important you want to remember, it will capture all that information.
Or a beautiful sunset.
Yeah, when you have your car valet parked, or anybody's driving your car, and you want to see what's going on in your car, the other day. Nancy and I were in Clementa Street. We had lunch. We had our car valet parked, and we went there and waited for the car. And so I wanted to see where my car was. I looked on my iPhone, and I saw the valet parker's pretty face, smiling, driving my car carefully out of the parking garage, bringing it down to see me. So that's the kind of stuff that I love, and I highly recommend. Rick.
As for the legal aspect of it, this is something I personally did a lot of research on.
I wonder why.
Because I've had a dash cam for quite a few years, and I am big into photography and videography. If you, by Florida state statutes, if you are out in public in a place where it is reasonable that any other person can see and hear you, then you have no legal right to privacy to be recorded for video and audio purposes. So if you're walking out around in public, you're going to be videotaped somewhere, recorded somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring your car in,
cameras everywhere.
if you want to bring your car into a service department or car dealership for repair, you will have full recording of whoever drove your car, road tested it, what they did to your car, what they didn't do to your car, if they turned on the radio, if they had some friends in the car, if they took it home Saturday night
You seem very familiar with
took
this.
their girl out on a date in your car. You get all that information, and it's amazing how people are not aware of the cams. You think with a thing sticking on the dash, looking at you, if you got in the car, people would be aware of it, but people just take cams. They don't see them.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb where Rick was going, like if you're in your home, nobody has a right to videotape you inside your house. But once you walk out your door, you don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. You're out in the world.
But if it's your video cam in your home, you have the right to somebody else
sure.
in your home. Yes,
Exactly. Visitor beware.
Yeah. Okay. Great topic,
we have a
ladies
lot
and
more text over there.
ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go to Miami, where we have a young
We are.
lady. I believe. Yes. Everybody, pack up. We're headed out. I believe that this caller's been holding for quite a while. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. It's nice to hear from you.
I didn't catch the name.
Aziz.
Aziz, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I watch the show basically. Well, not sometime when I have time, to watch it. So sometime at work, Saturday. But overall, I watch it. Even
Oh, you listen to the show every Saturday?
I listen to the show all the time.
Thanks for calling.
Does your dealership offer a powertrain lifetime warranty on the motor transmission and suspension?
Yes. Yeah. Our dealership, like in full disclosure, we have a dealership. Powertrain warranty.
Okay, because stop date, and I get a quote for a Finder XLE. I got a quote for with my trade 2010, but it has a lot of miles. It has 186. They gave it for my trade 3,700, and at the door price I asked for the door price. What?
I got to look that up. It sounds like it's in the ballpark.
Yeah,
It can't.
and we don't sell cars on this radio show, but
Yeah.
if you want to contact us after the show, we'll be glad to give you our lowest price, and then you can shop and compare it with the Toyota dealers in Miami. We'll give you our lowest price on that car, but once you do this, why don't you text Stuart, and his telephone number is area code 561-635-1349.
That's the first time you read that on the air. Or you could do 772-497-6530. It goes right to me.
Look at.
And we'll give you the price. We don't like to sell cars at our dealership on the show because we don't want to be taken as an infomercial. We're a consumer advocacy show to help consumers buy. But I can't say no to a customer, but we have to do it after the show.
Yeah, but I went to Kendall and they quoted me for 34, but I pushed it. I said, well, I want for 32. at the door with my trade, and they said no. So
Well-
I then went to South State, and I told them that they gave me 34 at the door price with my trade in, and they said, well, we cut in half. We give it to you for 33 for if you buy it today. So I said, well, let me go home, talk to my wife, and then I will call you.
Yeah. But you're doing the right thing, getting different quotes from different dealers. That's the best
Yeah.
way to get the best deal. And so keep doing what you're doing. And if you want to contact me after the show, I'll give you my best shot.
And Easy's the great great way to do your research. You have the power of the internet, and also let me give you this, Earl on Cars, and you can go there and you can read a whole lot of his columns on advice with all this competition that's out there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Aziz.
You're welcome.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go back to Stu, I believe.
Comment I just want to make regarding that last call. And we have the question was asked by this person in Miami that is thinking about buying a new Toyota, if our Toyota dealership that we have offers a lifetime powertrain warranty. And we do. And now I have to get into something I don't like to get into because it involves my business, but I have to do it to be totally transparent and honest. The reason that we offer the free lifetime warranty is because we did a marketing survey one time a couple of years ago, and we asked of different features and benefits and things that car dealers did that the buyers considered the most important. And we were shocked to find that free lifetime warranties on powertrains were one of the most critically concerned things about a car dealership.
Yeah, most desired, highest value,
yeah.
perceived value.
And the reason we're shocked is because lifetime powertrain warranties are not worth much. They're the powertrain are the lubricated components of a car. And it's the engine, the drive shafts, and the rear axle, and the block, and all the lubricated components. Transmission of a car. When you take care of a car according to the owner's manual, and the car is changed regularly, you don't have any problems with your powertrain, especially today. They last and last and last. So the cost of a powertrain warranty, if you go to the wholesale supplier, and there are a number of these that sell these powertrain warranties, a piece of paper, and they sell it to the dealer, and the dealer sells it or gives it away. And giving it away is about all that's worthwhile. I don't like the fact that we do have to do this, but when our competition out there says free lifetime powertrain warranty, and they're advertising this on television, we made the decision, well, it doesn't cost us anything. Yeah. Let's give it away anyway. So if you're still listening, the gentleman that called, the free powertrain warranty, anybody will give you a free powertrain warranty because it's worthless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Costs under $100.
Yeah.
All right, here's one about the dealership. Good morning. I was at your dealership a week ago or so and saw 5 or 6 Supras inside and just outside your showroom. I assume for sale. I thought these cars were in short supply and selling with large premiums. Is the supply already exceeding the demand? I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I was not really impressed with this design. Love Toyotas and love your show. And that's from Everett. And that's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll take it if you'd like.
You take it. You were talking about just the other day.
I was. At one point when the Supras first came out, this is the 2020 brand new Supra. People have been waiting for it for over 20 years. They came out in July, and every dealer in the country got 1 or 2. And they started selling them for a large premium over MSRP. The MSRP $56,000. Some dealers, we talked about it on the show, were selling it for $150,000. I think there was somebody close to $200,000, and people were getting this price.
The Supra assembly line, John Sallupi bought for $1.2 million.
Correct. So yeah, that's pretty insane. So and these dealers were getting it. The answer to your question is they have completely cooled off now, and we had some orders, and they canceled, and I won't even get into our policy. But the fact of the matter is dealers are not selling them, they're giving them to other dealers right now. So we've taken a few in on trade, And yeah, so exactly the excitement has worn off. The honeymoon period is over. So I'm not saying you should be able to go to a Toyota dealership somewhere in the country and get it for MSRP or less, but you got, a lot likelier than you would have a couple of months ago.
The Supra was a flop, and it's a shame. I mean, in full transparency, as I say over and over again, I am a Toyota dealer, and we were very excited about this vehicle. By the way, the car drives great. It's a lot of fun. It's a
great
well-made car. It's just the design, I think. I'm not sure what, but competitively speaking, it's a flop, and they're selling below MSRP now. People that bought them from us early, I feel bad, but my conscience is clear because we sold them for less than anybody else at manufacturer's suggested retail.
I think everybody who really, really wanted one got it already. They were on waiting lists all around the country, and the cars came in, they got them, and that was pretty much the market right there.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Car Gurus is advertising a lot on TV. They claim to tell you if the price is good. Is that reliable? How can I know if they are accurate?
I'm not sure how Car Guru gets it's probably accurate. We'll check this out for you.
No. I have an opinion on it.
Okay.
Well, Car Gurus will rate the price that the dealer submits to them, and they'll compare it to all the other prices that are listed in CarGurus.com. And they'll tell you if it's a great price, an average price, a fair price, and so on. And they color code it, and they show that. I've seen that on the TV on the commercial. There's like green's a great price, yellow is a fair price. One thing that I know that they don't do, they do not factor in the dealer fee. So Car Gurus is a source like any other source.
Yeah.
So if you want to price a car out, go on the Car Gurus, but still follow the advice we give you on the show and go to other sources. You can't rely on one source. Try TrueCar.com, Costco Auto.
TrueCar's bell curve it'll really give you a good general idea. And TrueCar, unlike any other source, third-party buying source, they are tapped into the car dealer's computer. And they can look into a market area, and if you're buying a Honda Civic in Palm Beach County, they'll go into Palm Beach County and they'll look at every Honda Civic transaction with the car dealers that they have subscribed that are certified True Car dealers.
Yeah.
And they'll put that information on a bell curve. And on top of the curve is the average price. On the lower left is the lowest price transaction. That could be one car. It might be a hell of a deal. It could be below invoice or some really, really good. And then on the right is the highest price, the poor sucker that got deceived and tricked and paid $1,000 over a sticker. So whatever year, make, model car you want to buy, you go to TrueCar, check out the bell curve. It'll give you a good general idea. You want to be you don't want to be on the right of the bell curve. You want to be looking for a price on the left. You're not going to get the one on the far left, but get one somewhere in between the top and the far left.
Stay to the left of the hump.
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to pick on Car Gurus. There's no online site really other than TrueCar that really spells out the amount of dealer fees you might be facing. So, Auto Trader, everything else, they don't highlight the dealer fee. So, the only thing that I think that you need to be aware of, don't take as gospel the rating. Great price, fair price on that.
And Stu's using the word dealer fees. We're both of us trying to think in terms of hidden fees. A dealer fee has become such a generic term that car dealers have mostly stopped naming their hidden fees, dealer fees. So we actually have seen advertisements of car dealers saying, no dealer fee.
Right.
And they don't have a fee called a dealer fee. They have hidden fees called everything.
Documentation.
And it's just, that's the trickery and the treachery and the deception of car dealers. They actually turn a negative into a positive. Yeah. I had a sales manager from a Toyota dealership on the West Coast, and I was on my Facebook page, and he came on and said, we don't charge a dealer fee at this particular dealership, Sun Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sun Toyota doesn't charge a dealer fee. And I said, well, send me a copy of your vehicle buyer's order. And he was dumb enough to send it to me. And I looked at it.
Wrong guy to send it to.
And and he has a hidden fee.
Yeah.
But it's not called a dealer fee. And he's advertising no dealer fee.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah. TrueCar, by the way, does require that no hidden fees. The way they refer to them is government. They have to be government fees. No non-government fees or dealer-installed accessories can be included in the TrueCar price. So if the dealer's honest and he goes along with the requirements of a certified true car dealer, you will get one without the hidden fees. Okay.
Okay. The next one. I am told that people who put a ton of miles on their car, leasing is a terrible idea. I drive maybe 8,000 miles a year. Does this mean I'm a good candidate for leasing?
You know, I'm going to ask Rick. When we came in the studio this morning, Rick says, you're not going to believe this. He says, I can't verify it, but I found this information on the internet.
On Reddit.com, a person had anonymously posted this picture that showed where a person who had leased a car had driven 130,000 miles over what their lease allowed, and they had a charge when they went to turn that car back in just recently. They had a charge. This was the actual form, a picture of the form with all the personal data removed, of course.
Looks legitimate.
Over $32,000 of a fee for over mileage.
Can you imagine that?
More than the cost of the
I better
car.
sit down.
You know, if that's true, and it might be, his only option would be to exercise his option to purchase the car.
Yeah.
And he'd be cheaper to buy the car than to pay the mileage overage fee.
Wow.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the show, and definitely there has to have been some, if it's true, there was some deception involved in that lease. Yeah.
Would have
Guy
to
probably didn't know he was leasing.
But you have to be careful. Our mystery shopping report coincidentally involves an understated mileage allowance. Remember, leasing companies can offer you any amount of mileage they want. They can give you 20,000 miles a year, 15, 10. I've seen lease advertisements with 5,000 miles a year. And you don't talk about it. It's in the fine print. It's not part of the conversation. So you really have to know what your driving habits are, your mileage amount that you need, and you need to ask that question because the charge per mile can be as much as 50 cents. The one that I saw that sticks in my brain was an advertisement for a luxury car dealer in Delaware. Name escapes me. And the penalty was 50 cents a mile, and the mileage allowance was 5,000 miles.
Yeah, that's
So deliberately, premeditated, punitive damages if someone had gone after that guy.
danger. All right. Here's a good one. Everything's in a theme today. We got leasing, we got Black Friday.
Yeah.
Nice.
I paid more for my Maxima last year on Black Friday than my son did the week before. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not funny. But that's just true. It kind of goes to what you've said all along. They say it's a Black Friday sale, but nothing changes.
Yeah.
It's not like you're buying something on Amazon or an item that was priced. You clearly see the price,
Yeah.
and then it's 30% off on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I got my cam was like that.
Yeah.
Remember,
do you
ladies.
know where the term Black Friday is, what that is supposed to mean?
Uh-huh.
Profit.
It's the day, folks. This is what that definition is. It's the day that most retailers typically begin showing a profit for the year, and that is they're going into black ink instead of the red ink that they were in before.
You're giving away the mystery shopping report.
I mean,
And you have to remember, folks, that car salespeople and car sales managers are paid a percent of the profit they make. Now, if you're having a sale, it's a legitimate sale, what are you doing? You're reducing the amount of profit that you're making on the car. So right away, you have an adversarial relationship. If the sale were legitimate, the salespeople are very unhappy because if you slash the price on a car that the price you normally sell it for, then the salesperson's commission is being slashed. That's how he feeds his family. He gets 25% of the profit he makes on the car. If they discount that car by $5,000, then that means that he's losing 25% of the $5,000. He's losing $1,250 in his pocket, and he doesn't like that. So he's either going to switch you to another car and tell you it's a better deal, or he's going to tell you that car's already sold. It's not going to happen, folks. You're not going to get that great deal.
www.itaintgonnahappen.com.
That's right. On www.youranonymousfeedback.com, we have three questions or comments. I think it's possible they're all from the same person. So we'll see here. First one says, and they're all attacks on you, by the way. So you'll enjoy these. Yeah.
Let it roll.
I love attacks.
Yeah. Okay. So you like to play games, raise prices just to lower them for negotiating buyers. You could not play the games at all and just explain the business. I realize you are speaking hypothetically, but just for entertaining, the idea as a joke makes you as bad as the other blank dealers, blank hole dealers. Earl Stewart, Toyota, no thank you. You run a blank business.
Okay.
A lot of blanks in there.
That hurts.
Yeah. How do I respond?
I don't know. We read everything. So
Yeah. Well, let's read it again. Go ahead.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you like to play games, raise prices just to lower them for negotiating buyers. We can unpack this one sentence at a time.
Yeah. We raise prices just to lower them for negotiation. See, that's the point. Now, that's what puzzles me, is we put our lowest price on every car we sell, and we won't lower a price no matter what. So if you came in and asked us to lower the price of our lowest price by $1,
Right.
the word track is, I'm sorry, sir, this would destroy our credibility and our transparency and honesty, that if the President of the United States or the Governor of the state of Florida walked in, or any dignitary came in and asked for a lower price, we wouldn't lower it. If we lowered it for you, we would be dishonest to all of our other customers that we wouldn't lower. So I know.
Well, the anonymous feedback prior to that was upset that we wouldn't lower the price for them. So.
Wouldn't lower it. Okay. Well.
No, it was from last week. That was the last one he came in. So
anyway.
All right. So next sentence: you could not play the games at all and just explain the business. Okay. I realize you are speaking hypothetically, but just for entertaining, the idea as a joke makes you just as bad as the other dealers.
No.
Okay.
Well, see, that's the reason we have anonymous, because people can say really stupid things, and we don't know who they are. And I wouldn't say that if they had given you your name. I wouldn't call anybody stupid. But I'm just saying the
fair game, anonymous.
The comment
Yeah, you're talking to anonymous.
Okay. Comment makes no sense.
All right.
So
I think somebody's it was kind of a cathartic thing. There's maybe angry at all.
It is, and it opens the pathway for people that want to say things that they be afraid to say and be identified. Because that man would never say. I'm assuming it's a man, because men say dumber things, I think, than women.
Right. Also, I just want to remind everybody: this is the recovering cardio. Covered, and we have thick skins. I mean, there's absolutely no reason for us to be upset that people lump us in with other car dealers, because that's the world we're in.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right, the next one, Earl. What is the closing rate at your dealership? I know you or your team track this. How much money have you lost by taking on Takata airbag afflicted or other dangerous recall affected cars, but not selling them? With that loss, how have you come up with the money to give the dealership the lavish facelift that it recently received? How many importers are there in the USA? Is an importer responsible for a certain brand, or can they work with multiple brands? Who makes the decision on which area of the country the dealership receives what mix of cars? I'm sorry, anonymous. You only get one question.
Well, I wasn't taking notes. Just start with the first question.
Oh yeah, let's do it that way. Earl, what is the closing rate at your dealership?
Okay. We don't really know exactly what our closing rate is. This will make Stu ruffle his feathers a little bit, because he's the general manager. But the closing rate, for those folks who don't know what it is the percentage of people that you sell a car to who come into your dealership, and either online or physically. And there's a round number people use that you close 20%, 1 out of 5. We have a computerized system, and so we think that our closing ratio is somewhere between 30 and 40%. When we mystery shop our own dealership, we find out that people come in to look at cars, but the salespeople don't register them, and the sales manager doesn't know that they were there.
Never happens.
And that Stu says it's very defensive. That never happens, but it does. Anyway, a really good closing ratio at an average dealership is about 1 out of 5. A great one would be, like 30%, 35%, and that's my answer to that question.
All right, the next question. How much money have you lost by taking on Takata airbag afflicted or other dangerous recall affected cars but not selling them?
Okay, how much money have I lost by taking on the Takata issue?
I know that.
I can tell you about how much I've spent. About $1 million.
Yeah.
About $1 million. It cost. Our cost was in terms of depreciation of the Takata cars that we sat on the lot and would not sell until we could fix the airbag. We also took another hit last week in a lawsuit I had against Arrigo because he was selling cars with dangerous airbags, and we sued Arrigo, and we went and we lost, and then we went to the 4th District Court of Appeals, and we lost, and our attorneys, Jack Scarola, Barnhart, and Chipley, great group of guys, if you like lawyers, and they thought it was pointless to take it any further, and so we had to pay Arrigo's attorney's fees, which were $220. So Jim Arrigo, John Arrigo,
$220,000.
$220,000. What did I say?
$220.
Yeah, $220,000 that we paid to Arrigo, and then he paid to his attorneys because we had to pay his attorney's fees. So you add all that together, our cost on the Takata airbag so far has been about $1 million. I like to think that we probably have profited somewhat because we have identified ourselves as being a dealer that will not sell you a car with a defective.
And we have profited spiritually by not killing people.
And, yeah, exactly.
I was going to add that, to our last text or the anonymous feedback. This is how we do business, and we do separate ourselves, from the others that you
Next
were
part of the
talking
question.
negative.
Okay. It's a follow-up to the last question. With that loss, how have you come up with the money to give the dealership a lavish facelift it recently received?
Well,
Borrowed it.
Yeah, well, that's, we've been in business for 47 years. We have a lot of money, and we're fortunate. We've been successful, and we have a lot of repeat business, and make a profit. And
we have good credit.
Yeah, we have good credit, yeah. And so we were able to pay for the expansion.
How do you buy a house? Basically, large expenditures. You have a good relationship with a good bank, and that's how you do it.
Exactly.
All right, next question. How many and I'm going to jump on this because I think we want to move along, but it's a question about how foreign cars or foreign manufacturers come to the country. It says, how many importers are there in the USA? Is the importer responsible for a certain brand? And the way it works is that every manufacturer has a distribution system globally: Volkswagen, Honda, Toyota, BMW, and so they're not individual importers that bring them in. They've established their operations in countries all around the world. So in America, United States, for example, Toyota, which we're most familiar with, there's different regions but they're all under the auspices of Toyota Motors North America, which is actually a division of Toyota Motor Corporation out of Japan. And they're not individual importers, so they handle their own distribution system. And the question is how many vehicles they bring in. They determine that based on on the market, supply and demand.
Well, they're independent distributors versus factory-owned distributors.
Sure.
So Southeast Toyota, for Toyota, 5 southeastern states are owned by the Jim Moran estate, and then there's
two
mid,
of them. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the what?
Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic, and there's there used to be 3, but it's
Cincinnati, Denver, and all that. But I think most of them are falling under the
Gulf states is the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's say who makes the decision on which area the mix of cars? Well, that's based on sales. So if they're selling a whole lot of trucks in Alabama, they're going to try and bring in more trucks into Alabama.
Exactly.
All right. The next one on your anonymous feedback. It is easy to say, quote unquote, one price dealership. It is easy to decline the sale to a customer that challenges this, but not for every dealer. Nonetheless, it is a consumer's best interest to challenge this every time. The dealer that has the lowest one price will decline the sale. The desperate dealer who doesn't have the lowest price will try to retain your business by negotiating that price. Now, the consumer has a choice. Go back to the one price dealer or take on the supposed one price dealer. No harm if the choice is with the consumer. Thoughts? Thanks, a listener.
Well, that's a very insightful comment, and it is the reason that there aren't more legitimate one-price dealers. It's extremely scary for a business person to put his best price on his product, be it a car or whatever he's selling, and give the consumer the right to shop and compare that car or product, whatever it may be. If you do take the lowest price and you take it to a competitor, there's a good chance the competitor will try to beat the price or make you think he's beat the price. What we've experienced in our 10 years we've been doing
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years. We see that in most cases they will take our lowest price, which you can obtain online or by phone or come in, the lowest price that we will not come $1 off of, and you can take it to all of our competition. And what we've learned is that rather than try to beat the price, because it is a very low price, it's our best price. Rather than trying to beat it, they try to fool you into thinking they beat it. So they'll say, okay, we'll beat the price, and then they will add hidden fees, they'll add dealer install accessories. And that so insults the informed consumers, they come back and they buy at our price. But if suddenly all the other competitive Toyota dealers in the market became honest, and they did not try to add and cheat and add the hidden fees and dealer install accessories, it would probably be pretty bad for our business.
Yeah.
But right now, our business is great because people are trying to be deceived. They come to us because they're not deceived, and they accept our price, which is a good low price.
I think the old axiom that you repeat on the show every week, which is do not believe any car dealership statement or advertising, applies to us, applies to everybody. You got to do it yourself. So if a dealer says they're a one-price dealer, take it with a grain of salt. We're telling you one price, take that with a grain of salt too.
Be sure when you get your lowest price from any dealer, any make, wherever you are, it's an out-the-door price, and be sure you compare it with at least 3 other dealers. It's easier said than done, but it's a sure way to get the best price.
Yep. We got a text from California. This is John from California. My question is on the negotiation end of the lease price. I was under the impression that I would be able to negotiate that price with the leasing company, but I was told no, that I would have to deal with the dealer. We're my father-in-law on the issue, so we did that. And Nissan said the price was not negotiable, but my father-in-law really likes the car, so he kept it, even though I told him not to. The car was worth only $12,000. They told him the car was worth $15,000. So they're talking about buying out the car at the end of the lease.
Yeah, well, it's a mistake. I mean, the leasing company does have the final say. They own the car. They give you the option. I heard something the other day, Stu, that I think it was an email I got from a customer that said, not our customer, that said that the dealership Wallace in Stewart, I believe it was Ford, it was charging him a $300 buying fee for exercising his purchase option.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, in addition to, was an email to me,
Okay.
in addition they had the dealer fee. So my advice was to go to Ford Leasing and try to find a dealer that would not charge a dealer fee to exercise the purchase option, and also ask the Ford Leasing if in fact there was a buying fee or if that was a creative way Wallace had of adding another hidden fee and calling it. You're like me, you've never heard of a purchase option fee. Yeah.
No, not at the end of a lease, no.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Steve in New Jersey, a longtime listener, longtime texter. Good morning, Earl. I'm in the process of getting a new car price from 4 dealers, following your advice. One that I purchased from in the past wants me to share bids with them together with their price. I feel this is unethical, although it may be standard practice. I said I would give all an equal chance to bid and would not share bids, and that they should be prepared to give me their best offer the first time. What's your opinion?
I think you're right. I think that by playing their game, if they'll sense whether you're going to play their game, even if you don't agree or disagree. But I would say, I want you to understand that this has got to be your lowest price. You're not going to get a second look.
Yeah.
And so you make your own decision.
Yeah, they might come in a little bit higher, but you might find that you trust them or you have a good experience when you're there. And so, they don't have to have the absolute lowest if it was a reasonable, amount variation.
My blog, word track for getting an out-the-door price. I wrote out, you can just read it or type it or email it or whatever, but it's the best way to make somebody understand when you're walking out the door, this better be your lowest, and out the door price with no games or gimmicks or hidden fees or dealer install accessories, because if it's not, you'll never see me again. And I agree with you, the chances of you ever seeing me again are low, but they're zero if you give me anything except your lowest price out the door.
Yep. And finally, Linda says, Rick, you're very quiet this morning.
That's because I've been doing all the talking.
We haven't had a whole lot of technical car questions. It's all been
Yeah.
leasing and sales and all that.
Well, I have two texts, and Rose is a regular listener, and she tuned in last week, and she heard us talking about the Cybertruck. This question is for you, Earl. Rose wants to know if Elon Musk has had any pre-orders.
CNC said he had 250,000 pre-orders, and then someone told me that the deposit required was very low.
I was shocked.
$100 or something like that.
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say he probably had a lot of pre-orders, but certainly far more than he would have if it was a normal.
Yeah, because Elon doesn't exaggerate ever.
Yeah. Well, with our Supra, to be full disclosure, we only required $500, and that was refundable. So there's a balance between it's too low and it's too high. If you make too high, people are worried they're not going to get their money back. So we really can't scoff at Elon too much if he charges $250 and we charge $500, right?
100.
100, yeah. Well, even 100, yeah. I mean, the difference is $400. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
Well, Rose, keep on listening.
Yeah.
We always have some fun here, and we give out a whole lot of information. The other text, ironically, is you. Was that Linda? Said Rick was quiet?
Yeah.
Rose wants to know from you. She tuned out last week whenever you were giving advice on mechanics and how she could find
Was Rick that boring? That's all right.
Rose had to go to work. At any rate, she's wondering if you could advise her. She's in the Orlando area, and she's looking for a great mechanic, a great mechanic.
Oh, because I'm down here.
There you have it,
I'm
Rose.
the
world's
one of
greatest
those.
mechanic, right?
Best advice actually is social media, Facebook, the forum sites, any sort of social media, and get a bunch of recommendations, and then investigate every name and every suggestion, and do lots and lots of homework.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, not YouTube, but Instagram. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
say, hey, folks, this is where I live, and I got a Ford, and who's the greatest Ford mechanic you've ever dealt with?
Yeah. It's a minefield out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you have to do your homework. I'll tell you what, I always say, knowledge is power. Whether you're leasing, whether you need a mechanic, whether you're purchasing a vehicle, hey, auto insurance, there's another topic. We need another 2 hours on that one. So, 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530, and we're going to hear from Rick right now, and he's got some YouTubes.
We've got one on YouTube. Richard Popless is asking, will a car dealer give you an out-the-door price online, or if you want to counter offer their price, or will they need you to come in to do this?
Well, the conventional old school will require you to come in, and sometimes they won't even, they say we don't get prices online. I mean, that's so 20th century. Today, the competitive dealers, the ones that are going to survive in the 21st century, will give you a price, but sometimes you have to be adamant about it. You have to explain to them an out-the-door price means, and then you have to tell them what you mean by an out-the-door price. No hidden fees, no dealer-installed accessories. The simplest way to do it, and Stu and I talk about this all the time, is to have an out-the-door price mean what it says literally, meaning it means the amount that you bring the check to the car dealership for, and they take and give you your receipt, and you get in the car and you go home. That kind of a price. That includes tax and tag. And that would really eliminate everything if you did that. And at our dealership, we don't do that. We put our prices online with and the only thing we add is tax and tag. And we always have to explain that we only add
Government fees.
government fees. But I wonder, we hesitate to put the government fees on there because it makes our price even higher. But wouldn't it be nice, and I put myself in your shoes, you consumers, car buyers, wouldn't it be nice if there was a law?
They required that.
A law that said you cannot advertise a car anywhere unless you have the full price out the door, meaning the price that the customer pays and he owns the car and he takes it home. No more fees, government or otherwise, and no more dealer installed accessories. If that was a law,
I wish this wasn't a commercial.
well,
Because we do that on our website.
we don't put the tax and tag on.
Yeah, we do.
We add it separately, right?
Well, you click on one little thing, it shows you the total
Okay,
out the door.
yeah. That's what it should be. That should be the law.
Yeah, and you have to pay the pre-installed fees, from the dealer. You have that, but then you got to really be careful because you get into the dealership and they add on, just like Earl just said, add on all these fees. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, buyer beware.
Mother, got another YouTube?
We are, well, it's somewhat caught up. Wayne, I'm answering his question online also. Let's bring this open. He says, I have a question for Rick. My new 2019 RAV4 LE doesn't keep the favorite 4 phone numbers in memory. Sometimes the memory lasts a few days and other times the numbers are gone. And my first answer for anyone having an issue with their cell phone connecting with the radio, I'm going to guess because about 60 to 70% of people have iPhones. The new iOS 13 that came out has not been properly tested with most Toyota radios. This is going to be an issue with a lot of other manufacturers as well, because Apple's been doing a lot of updates. The easiest thing to try, and this works for pretty much any phone, any car, delete the phone from the car, erase it completely out, and erase the car from your phone, and then restart both of them so that you get a fresh, clean, new connection. But always make sure that your phone has been updated to its latest operating system, that all the updates are in before you begin that pairing process. 99% of the time, that will solve your issues and get everything working right.
Great answer. And for a lot of folks out there that are not real cyber savvy and technological, bring it to your dealer and let them do it for you. They shouldn't charge you for that.
No, because that's something that takes about 3 or 4 minutes to do, and then you're all set. And as a matter of fact, the interesting part is we used to update radio software by downloading a program from the internet through a special scan tool and then putting it into the car. Now, those radio updates can be simply sent to the car over the air, and it'll actually come up on the screen and say, you have an update, would you like to install it?
It's kind of spooky when it happens.
It is. How do I know?
Yeah.
All right, we have another text. When you read the mean anonymous feedback, it reminds me of mean tweets on Jimmy Kimmel. Have you watched those? If not, you have to check it out. Very funny. It is very funny, and it actually it reminds me of that too as well. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't, no.
Okay, you go on YouTube and just search
Mean tweets.
and you'll crack up.
Maybe we should start saving the mean anonymous feedback.
We should do a video. Yeah.
And we could have a website with a mean anonymous.
You know, we did that once, I think. It was we did a video of that a long time ago. We got to do that again.
Funny thing is, this morning on the way to the show, just before we left, actually, I got a Facebook message that said they tried to go on youranonymousfeedback.com, and it said website not available. So I looked at it, and I had a typo, and I spelled anonymous wrong.
Uh-oh.
So I edited it, changed the spelling, and I sent it back. But now I know who the anonymous feedback coming from, because he contacted me on Facebook. Be careful.
Speaking of iPhones, another text here. Speaking of iPhones, I love my Apple CarPlay, but when will it work without the cord?
That's something we're actually waiting to see from Apple, because right now,
I actually know this one.
you're right. The new 2020s now have cordless
That is
CarPlay,
correct.
don't they?
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's right.
It's nice that you get in the car and your
Yeah.
phone appears on the screen. It's really cool. So I imagine all the manufacturers are doing it about the same time. It probably had a thing to do with between Apple and the manufacturers. So we've talked about Apple CarPlay on the radio a lot here. It's just really cool because over the years, like the infotainment things in cars are just terrible. And you have these phones that work great and they're easy to use and they're just really neat, and then the cars suck. But now with Apple CarPlay, and also Android has a similar thing. So if you don't have an iPhone, you can still do it. Basically,
That's
it
the
mirrors
Google
your phone.
CarPlay.
Yeah, it's really cool. So things are getting better. So I'm glad about that.
Not to mention the fact that the maps for navigation
Yeah.
system on Apple and Google
Yeah.
are always up to date, whereas it used to be to update the map in your navigation system. Ugh,
And pay
nightmare.
and pay like $200 to get a new DVD.
Exactly.
Yeah. You have
Okay.
you have a satellite view of with the Google Maps in your car.
Oh, I love it. I feel like I'm flying.
Exactly.
If you go to the Google satellite view, it's a picture flying in a small plane like 1,000 feet. Or maybe 5,000 feet.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then you see the world in your neighborhood the way you've never seen it before.
Right.
I mean, you're driving along, two-dimensional, and you look to the right and you see a bunch of office buildings, and then I'm looking at my Google map and I see what's behind the office
I used to
building.
wonder, there's a pond back there. I never knew that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am in the trunk at that point. Okay. What I want to
Because
tell...
Earl's just staring at the map. Look, I wonder if I
That's
can make
very
this
true.
turn.
Yeah.
I
I want to
confess.
see. I want to see 77.
I do
Okay.
confess it's dangerous. But I can't help myself. I go, oh.
Did you hear what he said?
You
Can't
should see
help
what
himself.
Nancy looks like every Saturday morning when she shows up at the studio.
He said he can't help himself. Guess
Yeah.
what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. I got handcuffs so far. I got hog tie rope. A lot of stuff. I got a wild
Just
imagination.
put a blindfold on.
Anyway, I am going to read this next text that is directed at me. Long time coming. This is from Marianne, and she says, Nancy, thank you for being part of Earl Stewart on Cars. I really wish there were more radio shows that included women. Thank you for the information that you share with us. Marianne, from my heart and soul, and from Earl Stewart on Cars, thank you.
Okay, where we stand
you.
on text and
Notice the guys didn't make a comment on that.
No, I said thank you.
And also, on a more serious note, we do have a mystery shopping report coming up, and that is from Napleton.
It's been a long time since we had a
Yeah,
good
can't-
old Napleton shop.
Yeah, we need a knockdown here.
We're all caught up with text and comments online, but I'll interrupt if we get another one.
Okay.
okay. I think I'm going to do this before I get to the mystery shopping report. I didn't even tell Stu about this, but I was inspired yesterday, and I did my blog a little early, and so it won't go out till next week. But my inspiration was to get to the core root cause of evil in car dealers, and why are you people taken advantage of? And it's called competition, insane competition. And I explained in this blog, and this will be in next week, I explain why car dealers are insanely competitive, leading to the things that they do. And it has to do with us being, as a car dealer, I'm a car dealer, I'm on a very limited franchise agreement, contractual agreement with Toyota. Honda dealers are the same way with Honda, Ford, blah, blah. And if you don't perform as a car dealer, a lot of people don't know this, if you don't hit your quota and sell a certain minimum number of cars, you lose your business. Now, car dealers invest millions of dollars. You don't see a car dealership out there that has less than a few $1 million invested. And sometimes it's life saving, sometimes it's a life work, and it's your business. You employ, 30 or 100 or 500 people, and it's a huge investment and commitment. And a car manufacturer can take that away from you overnight. All they have to do is not renew your franchise, your contract. And if you don't sell enough cars, they will not renew your franchise, your contract. And if they take away your right to sell, I'm a Cadillac dealer, and say, okay, Earl, you can no longer sell Cadillacs, and I've got a $10 million building and $20 million worth of land and $5 million worth of equipment and on and on and on, suddenly the value of all that brick and mortar and inventory and equipment is worth maybe 10% of what I paid for it. I mean, it's devastating. So it's like having a gun to your head. And I've been a car dealer for over 50 years. And for over 50 years, I've, in a sense, felt like I have a gun to my head.
Yeah, not a good feeling.
So what do? You do whatever it takes to sell the number of cars that Honda tells you you have to sell, that BMW tells you have to sell. And if you don't sell it, you have to decide, do I lose my business? Do I have my employees without jobs? Do I have my family without food on the table? I mean, I know I sound overly dramatic now, but
I don't think so.
the competition
Stakes
is
are high.
intense, and it calls for desperate moves, and the desperation translates into unfair and deceptive trade practices, advertising, sales practices, lying, cheating, and stealing to sell cars. And they're all selling the same product. A Ford is a new Ford is a new Ford is a new Ford. A new Honda is the same. They're generic. So if Bremen Honda sells a car and Morse Honda sells a car, they're the exact same car. And you can go to buy the exact same product from two different businesses, and where are you going to buy it? You're going to buy it where the price is the lowest. And if everybody competes to sell you that Honda at the lowest price, what's going to happen? They're going to lose money, and they're going to go out of business.
Do you see a correlation between the more desperate dealers who are in more danger of not meeting their quotas and the style of advertising?
I do, but I also see a correlation between the more successful dealers. And I hate to say this, but the really successful dealers oftentimes are the most deceptive. And it
works, I guess.
It works.
Yeah.
You know, lying and cheating and stealing works, especially when the legislatures are dropping the ball, the regulators are dropping the ball, and the strength of the lobbyists, national automobile dealers, the Florida automobile dealers, the power to get people elected into office, and the fear that those people have of saying something against that industry, be it insurance, be it the National Rifle Association, be it whatever it is. It's just the way our system operates. So that's a preview of my blog that's coming out next week, not this week, but next week.
Catch it online Monday morning.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Earl, I have to commend you. You really broke that down well. And I think you can attack a topic when you've been part of it, been there, done that. And what you did was you broke down the desperation of selling a car and the, well, like I said, been there, done that, and all the passion that's involved in it, a lot of emotions in deceiving the consumer. Now we're going to get to the mystery shopping report, and I believe Earl has that right in front of him. Like I told you earlier, that is from Napleton, West Palm Beach.
Napleton, West Palm Beach Hyundai. Car dealers love sales. Maybe more appropriately, car dealers love the opportunity to have a sale. President's Day, Groundhog Day, Valentine, you name it. Any day is a sale day at a car dealership. And of course, Black Friday, it really, really gets the impetus because it was created. It's created for the retailers. And every year, Black Friday gets me excited. I mean, I had to jump on Amazon and I had to look around.
I'm shopping right now.
Yeah. I thought you were quiet, yeah.
I like that. Jonathan, are you shopping?
J. Crew has 40% off right now.
And Black Friday, I mean, has really been pounced on by the car dealers because it gets the adrenaline. And people, it has credibility. The media and the news give Black Friday credibility. Of course, like the other endless string of holiday-based sales during the year, Black Friday sales at car dealerships are bogus. You know, as the old joke, how to tell when somebody is lying. When their mouth moves.
Yeah, that's what they say about teenagers.
How do you know how to tell when a car dealer's lying? It's when he advertises.
Yes.
It's like it almost goes back to my competition thing that I talked about earlier. If you told the truth about your price, car dealers feel if I give them my best price, when I advertise, what are they going to do? That customer, that damned customer, is going to take
That's crazy.
my price. And I was so honest with him. He took my lowest price and he went over to my competition and they beat my price by $100. Buyers are liars, that terrible customer. Sounds funny, doesn't it? It's true. It's exactly true. I go into a dealer meeting and I go to Stu and I go to dealer meetings all the time, and that's the conversation. So what do? They lie about their price. And what a better place to lie is in their advertising, and that's what they do. A good old Black Friday promotion is too irresistible for a car dealer like Ed Naples to pass up. Ed Naples is one of the largest car dealerships in the country, by the way. He's right up there in the top, I think, 30 or 40 dealer groups. He's got like 30 or 40 dealerships. Not that many in Florida, but Ohio, I think he's all around. And he lives in Palm Beach. Used to have family in the business. I don't know if he still does.
His son.
Oh, son?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right, yeah. I read about his son in the paper. Okay. So we went looking for a Black Friday advertisement. We immediately found one. Naples West Palm Beach Hyundai is offering Black Friday pricing. Isn't that a beautiful? Can you see the ad agency now? Let's call it Black Friday pricing. And unfortunately, people say
all month long.
Oh yeah. The ad we found promotes a lease on a new 2019 Hyundai Elantra SE for just $85 per month. That's right. $85. I just wonder who believes that. When I say that, I know people do believe it.
I don't believe it.
Well, no, nobody in this room. We're all informed, but if you go to the masses, and it's just like these Nigerian scam people that are on the internet that say that their lawyer just decided I had inherited $1 million.
Yeah. You fall for that every
time. And you laugh at it. Well, there are people that believe this stuff. And all you need to do is get 1%. And am I hearing voices?
Yes.
Yes. I'm hearing voices. I'm trying to turn my. Yeah. Okay, I'll just have to ignore it. Stu's looking for the source of the voice that is speaking to me from above. We know, educated people and aware people know that this is too good to be true. The first paragraph of fine print indicates that the total due, this is a Napleton ad, that the total due at signing is $2,999. Let's call it $3,000. So somehow you have to see this in the fine print, and you're not going to find it in the fine print. So that's the first sneaky awareness this Napleton Hyundai advertisement is not true. And that doesn't include the first payment. So that's contradiction number one. The second paragraph reveals more in this advertisement for Hyundai, Napleton Hyundai. We learned that the $2,999 plus first payment is due at signing also does not include the tax. So now we got another $215. This is on the $85 per month lease. And tag and title, we got another $250. And then here comes the hidden fee. We referred to it in the shopping report as the dealer fee. $899 hidden fee. And then another hidden fee that they called doc processing fee, $199. Now, you probably can't keep a track or add all that up in your head too much too fast, but the total due that you have to come up with for this $85 a month lease from Napleton Hyundai in West Palm Beach, $4,562. $4,562 to get an $85 a month lease. Now, what's so good about an $85 a month lease if you have to come up with nearly $5,000?
Yeah. And plus, when you look, if you bothered to look at the fine print, all you would see is $2,999 due at signing.
Yeah. So Napleton Hyundai, I say to you, shame. Ed Napleton, I say to you, shame for this type of advertising. There's a lot to unpack here, so we sent the Intrepid.
Ooh, you forgot it, the miles allowed.
Oh, we talked about that earlier. Shame on me. 10,000 miles a year in the fine print is all you get. And the average driver drives 50% more than that, 15,000 miles a year. So you're probably, in a 3-year lease, going to have 15,000 miles overage at 25 cents a mile.
You might owe $32,000 at the end of this lease.
So here's all the minefields. We've uncovered them all with our dog. I envision a dog smelling out the minefield.
McGruff the crime dog.
Yeah. Okay, here's the report. Speaking in the first person, as if I were Agent Intrepid. Agent Intrepid. No, Thunder. Intrepid Agent and Thunder. That's right.
Agent Thunder is intrepid.
He's intrepid, yeah. I entered West Palm Beach Hyundai at 11:15 in the morning, greeted by a familiar face, a man named Roger. We name names, folks, who I actually work for, speaking in the first person. So Agent Thunder actually worked for this guy in his other life.
With him.
With him?
Yeah.
Worked with him, okay. And that happens every now and then. And I love his coolness, his calmness.
Yeah.
And instead of being flustered, he just said, "Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
What's up? What's happening?" And we exchanged a few words. He turned me over, Roger did, to a young salesperson named Chris. What did Roger do? He wasn't the manager.
I don't know. It might have been maybe a greeter or who knows?
I told Chris, the salesperson that Roger introduced me to, I was interested in the Elantra SE, Hyundai Elantra, and this is Napleton in West Palm Beach, from the advertisement, and he went off to find a vehicle. Chris did an excellent job presenting and demonstrating the vehicle. Took us back inside to look at the numbers. Once back inside, I found Roger again, and I told him about the $85 lease deal. Now remember, I know Roger, so we worked together. I was his buddy, and I said, I looked him right in the eye, and I said, "Is this just bait and switch, or is this the real deal?" Now that's got to be. Roger had to do some serious thinking. He responded, "Listen to this. To be honest, you're probably going to have to put up more than $5,000 down to get close to $85 per month." I love that phrase, to be honest.
TBH.
I mean, that's really, they're lying, they're deceiving you, and now he runs into a friend.
You run into honesty when you get there.
Yeah, the disclosure. To be honest, you got to come up with about $5,000 to get close, not to $85 a month, to get close. And close is a relative term, right? I mean, I'm close to Stu, but
There's
I'm
a
also
saying.
close to the gas station across the street.
That's true.
I'm close. What is close? We'll find out. I said, "My goodness, that's a long way from 85." Oh, no, I'm sorry. A few minutes later, Chris comes back from the offer with an offer $3,000 down to be at $273.
Right.
$273 per month. Okay,
Right.
that's close.
That ain't close.
That ain't close. I said, "My goodness, that's a long way from $85 per month." I then proceeded to chuckle and belly laugh, and it was easy to do. I mean, I know this guy,
'Cause it's a
Roger.
joke.
He's my friend. Okay? Chris must have taken this as a no, the belly laugh, walked off to grab the manager. 5 minutes later, I'm approached by Jacob, who thanked me for coming in. He mentioned my friendship with Roger, and he said he's going to give it to me straight. You know how it is, he's saying. This is straight. You know how it is. To get to those numbers, you have to get a lot of incentives by being a retired cop. Now, that's a new one. Did he really say retired cop?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A soldier. You got to be a retired cop and a soldier. And you got to be a veteran.
Farmers and teachers.
Yeah, we heard farmers, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, there's the loyalist and the conquest, and there's a whole litany of different organizations to get all these discounts.
How about sheep herders?
Sheep herder, I like that.
Shepherd.
I think we ought to do that as a joke sometime. Run an advertisement that in order to qualify for this, you must be a sheep herder.
A goat herder.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the conversation because I'm a friend of Roger. I decided to just cut to the chase. I said, "I don't have any more time. I'll put $5,000 down. Just give me a printout that shows exactly what I'll be paying per month." He agreed and returned with a lease worksheet. And I pointed a few items for me. He highlighted that the MSRP of the car was $19,005. I was receiving $2,250 in rebates and putting down $5,000, and my new payment was drum roll, $227 per month. Now remember, the ad's $85. Okay. He failed to point out that below my $5,000 down, it listed 2 upfront fees, totaling $796.50. Don't know what they were called. I suppose the finance manager would have collected it. A lot of that going on. You see some on the worksheet, you see some from the sales people, meaning hidden fees, then they have more hidden fees in the box, the finance department. It also appeared that the selling price was $1,000 over MSRP, $19,005. I shook hands and went on my merry way.
So it was $5,796.50 to get a $227 a month payment that did not include tax.
Exactly. Yeah.
What about the ad?
Yeah. $85.
What about the ad?
You would think, wouldn't you think that somebody, I mean, I get so disappointed in our legislatures and the regulators, but I also have to talk about the manufacturers. The Hyundai district manager knows what's going on, and
he probably patted him on the back for that ad.
Yeah, and they probably have an ad ethics thing, but this isn't part of it. Bait and switch, lowballing, and all the other dirty tricks are not part of the requirements of what they call good advertising. Hyundai's probably required not to advertise a car below invoice, like Toyota and Honda and some other people, which is their way of boosting the price to the consumer. Okay, let's get into the epilogue here. What time is it? Oh, we got a little bit of time. This was indeed a classic bait and switch. The odds of anyone qualifying for all those rebates mentioned by the manager are worse than the odds of winning the Powerball. And then to add insult to injury, when the customer inevitably does not qualify, they raise the price over sticker and they go for the jugular. So it's the worst type of advertising we've seen. They don't even feel embarrassed about it. We've heard honest disclosures from salespeople before that feel guilty. In this case here, we had a friend, just coincidentally, of Agent Thunder, who recognized each other, they worked together, and even then he was deceived. And there was a confession of the deception.
You'd think he'd get a deal.
Yeah.
Because there never was a deal.
Yeah, there never was a deal. Nobody would get a deal. If they had sold it for the advertised price, Napleton would have lost thousands of dollars on that price. Because it would be, to be honest with it would be $85 a month with no down payment. And that would be a huge loser. It'd be interesting to hire an attorney sometime and sue to buy the car at the price that was advertised.
Maybe we ought to try that.
I never thought about that.
Write that down.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting close to voting time. We got about 6 minutes to go, I think.
Yeah, we have a few coming in online. We have Rufus. Rufus gave him an F. Love your name, Rufus. Linda, in all caps, gives them a big fat F. We have an F from Ed. We have an F from Marvin. And I'm giving him an F too.
Yeah, I mean, not just deception, but unapologetic deception, confession that they are cheating. So I don't know, maybe when you confess that you're cheating, maybe that's better than when you don't confess. Or is it just more arrogant? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Rick, what do we got on the YouTube?
So far, I've got Karen with an F, Mark with an F, and my own, it's an F. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
don't even need to go there.
Yeah, Napleton Hyundai in West Palm Beach is already on our do not buy list, right? So
We'll make a new list for them.
A new list, yeah. They have a special list. We had a recommendation the other day that we give quantitative scores, numerical scores, because Napleton would be down around 9 or 10 points, and we got people up there around 70 and 80 points.
It'd be really cool if we had like a little button you could click on it. It shows the curve, and then you click uncurve it, and you kind of like the feels like. Never mind.
Exactly. Nancy, how are you going to vote on this?
Well, I'm going to give them an F.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that they really give the word giving a new definition this time of year, because they're really giving it to the consumer.
That's right.
So there we are. I'm gonna say fail them. I'm gonna say that maybe when you have a particularly egregious report like this, maybe we should turn them into the state attorney's office.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Anne Marie also gives them a big fat F.
yeah,
That's a great idea.
yeah. I think that would be interesting. We could also report on the state attorney to see what the reaction was. Now, they won't always tell you that they took action. I think maybe it's policy they don't tell you. But the state attorney, we've done this before,
Yeah.
and we've turned dealers in for very egregious activity, and they fine them. So if you push them, the state attorney will take action. That's the reason I tell you consumers out there, complain to the Florida State Attorney's Office, and you might not know they took action, but if it's a legitimate complaint, I believe they will.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people just throw their hands in the air, you know, and say, how can I make a difference? But boy, you sure can. And as far as our list is concerned, send them a short list, nothing overwhelming. Sometimes they have the attention span of a gnat, so we don't want to, you know, take up a lot of their time. They'll just throw our mail in the garbage.
Okay. I mean, if we do have another 30 seconds, I'll just remind everybody about my $100,000 dealer challenge. I'm challenging anybody. The monies will be donated to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and if you'll debate me on the air about the honesty of the hidden fee, the dealer fee, the hidden fee, and we will have a fair judgment on who wins the debate.
It could be done anonymously.
It could be done anonymously, yeah. And if $100,000 is too rich for your blood, give me a number. Whatever it is, I'll take my winnings if I win. I'll donate it to Big Dog Ranch, and you can keep your money. This applies to all car dealers out there.
There we
Okay,
go.
ladies and gentlemen, I see by the clock that we've got about 2 minutes left. I want to remind all of you how important you are to the show and take a moment and thank you. Thank you very much for listening to Earl Stewart on Cars. We'll be right back here next Saturday, and we hope that you will tune in again. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy this beautiful weather.
Well, Stu, let me ask you